Welcome back to another edition of the GuerrerosAzteca podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around the football mexicano. It is Insomnia from the Mexican Gamers channel, and man, as we all know, there's been a lot going on, like Carlos Vela, for example, saying no to El Tri, saying no to Mexico for the 20th time, but not only saying no to Mexico, saying no to the World Cup, to the possibility of playing in the World Cup, which the way he's been playing at a very, very high level with Real Sociedad in Spain. He would have been a starter in Miguel Herrera's 11 for the World Cup, but he said no to all that. He said no to the chance of bigger clubs maybe being interested in him and his services. He said no to all of that. We have Cruz Azul, La Máquina del Cruz Azul, and they look to be unstoppable. Although they didn't play the greatest game of football versus Puebla last week, what a goal for Marco Fabian to give him the 3 points late in the game. So Cruz Azul looks very, very strong for this season. Could this be the year? Could this finally be the year for the Cruz Azul fans? We're going to talk about that in this episode as well. We have the list of the 8 Mexican players who participate in European leagues called up by Miguel Herrera to participate in the March 5th friendly versus Nigeria in Atlanta's Georgia Dome. So very interesting topics for today. Carlitos Vela, I don't understand it. I respect your decision, man. I do. I respect it. You know, he doesn't want to come to the Mexican national team. It's all good. But I don't understand it, you know, saying that he's not mentally prepared, saying he's not mentally ready, and that he'll know and he'll announce when he's ready to come back to the Mexican national. I just don't understand it. You know, he said he didn't only say no to Mexico, but he said no to World Cup, which is like, it's strange because that doesn't fit in a player's head. You know, players would almost kill to have a chance to play a World Cup. You know, this is where you show what you're made of. This is where the big European clubs and the big clubs of the world are looking at, and they might, if you have a decent World Cup, you might take a jump to a bigger team with a bigger pay raise, with more advertisement opportunities, with more. But I mean, he said no to all of that, so I don't really understand. And then recently, I think it was on Monday, he gave an interview to a radio station in Spain, where he said, no, like, I'm not playing the World Cup. Not even in the PlayStation will I play the World Cup. He said it pretty much like that, you know, and he says it joking, which I don't understand. You know, I respect it, but I don't understand his explanation of why he won't play a World Cup. I'm not mentally prepared. I'm not mentally ready to return to the Mexican national team. I mean, I understand he has issues with some people in the federation, the Mexican Federation for football. It's not with any other players. At least I don't think. We don't know because he hasn't came out and said. He just says that he's not mentally ready. What the hell is that, buddy? It's a World Cup. What are you doing? But there you see Falcao, you know, he would kill almost to have the chance to play a World Cup, but Carlitos Vela on the other hand says, nah, no thanks, it's not for me, I'm not mentally prepared, whatever. So yeah, man, Carlos Vela, like I said, Mexico, like I said it on Twitter, man, when Miguel Herrera came out on Twitter and said, okay, I talked to Carlos Vela and I just don't see him mentally, you know, convinced that he wants to join the Mexican national team and he wants to go after this World Cup. And then Carlos Vela as well, he tweeted, yo, just like Miguel Herrera said, I'm not mentally prepared, I'm not ready to return, this and that. That day on Twitter, I said it myself, you know, Mexico's aspirations in the World Cup are the same with or without Vela. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that, let's say Mexico always, you know, you always hear quinto partido. They want to reach the quarterfinals. I know they already reached it in 2 World Cups before, but that was in the 80s. That was back then. That was before the round of 16. That was before more teams participated in the World Cup. So Mexico's reached technically the quarterfinals, but since, you know, the round of 16, Mexico has yet to advance to the 5th game of the World Cup, to the quinto partido. You hear it all the time. There's books on this obsession for the Mexican national team, for the entire Mexican nation, you know, getting to the quarterfinals, getting to the 5th game of the World Cup. And I think with or without Carlos Vela, you know, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say, yeah, Carlos Vela is trash, Mexico doesn't need him. And, Mexico doesn't need him because Mexico has never, ever, even when Hugo Sanchez was destroying the Spanish league, he was getting Pichichi after Pichichi, top goal scorer after top goal scorers, trophies in Spain. Mexico has never, ever depended on one player, never, ever, been based around one player. Mexico has never had a Messi. Mexico has never had a Cristiano Ronaldo. Mexico has never had a Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho, when he played in the Brazilian national team, he had stars all around him. But you know what I mean? Mexico has never had that one player. I mean, Hugo Sanchez, like I said, but Hugo Sanchez didn't really show that much talent with the Mexican national team. He didn't win big things. Hugo Sanchez didn't add so much to the Mexican national team. If Jared Borghetti did more than Hugo Sanchez, and we could all agree that Hugo Sanchez was a better player than Jared Borghetti. Not taking away anything from Jared, but Borghetti accomplished more in the Mexican national team. So Vela, it would be important for the national team, for Mexico, but it's not like with Vela we're gonna get, or I say we, but Mexico was gonna reach the finals of the World Cup. And now, since Vela said no to Mexico, then Mexico's aspirations are no longer the final. Mexico is not gonna get to the final of the World Cup. A miracle would have to happen. You don't want to say it won't happen because, in football anything is possible. But let's be realistic. Mexico is not gonna reach the final of the World Cup. They weren't going to reach the final with or without Vela. Mexico's aspirations keep being, reaching the quarterfinals and just doing well, just doing decent. People can say, yeah, they got eliminated fairly early on, but they did. They were tough. Spain didn't run all over them. Chile, whoever they end up facing if they advance to the round of 16. They gave them a hard-fought game, and they lost like they did to remember Argentina with a hell of a goal from Maxi Rodriguez on Osvaldo Sanchez. It was a hell of a game, and just very, very late in the game with a golazo, Argentina advanced past Mexico. But it was an evenly matched game. With or without Vela, Mexico's aspirations are the same. Mexico was not going to reach the finals of the World Cup, was not going to win the World Cup if they had Vela. And without Vela, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's just Vela would have added, because he has talent. He's a talented player. My opinion is Mexico's aspirations the same with or without Vela. So let's get past the whole Vela thing. I'm done, man. I'm tired of hearing it on the media, on the news, on TV, on the radio, seeing it on newspapers. I don't read the newspaper, but you know what I mean. Websites that sports websites that cover the league, not the Liga MX, but everything going on in Mexico with the sport of football. Everyone was talking about Vela, and Vela says something, and there they go once again. The Vela case is brought up once again. I'm tired of it. So I'm done with Vela. Forget about Vela. He's a great player. He definitely has talent, but he's not mentally ready. Whatever he says, whatever. We have to respect him, man. So anyways, man, moving on to other better topics. We got to stop talking about the ones that don't want to come to the Mexican national team, like Carlos Vela. And we got to start talking about the ones that actually do want to play the World Cup with Mexico, like Hector Moreno, like Guillermo Ochoa, like Chicharito, Giovanni, Javier Aquino, Hector Herrera, Diego Reyes, and Andres Guardado. Those are the 8 players. The 8 Mexican players that play in European leagues that have been called up from Miguel Herrera to participate in the March 5th friendly against Nigeria in Atlanta's Georgia Dome. So, yeah, man, I like the list. This is, these aren't all the Mexican players that are in European leagues, but these are the more relevant ones. These are the ones that have actually played a couple games already with the Mexican national team. We know that Tecatito Corona is in the Netherlands, playing with Twente FC over there. We know that Neri Castillo is with Rayo Vallecano in the Liga BBA, but Neri Castillo already had his chance, and Tecatito Corona is still a little bit too young. So here are the 8 players that are, it's not a surprise that they actually got called up to this friendly versus Nigeria, right? So Hector Moreno, I think, is a for sure already pretty much starter in the World Cup. Hector Moreno will play a World Cup. You could sign it right now. Guillermo Ochoa, in my opinion, the top two of the Mexican goalkeepers along with Corona. It doesn't matter. For Mexico has really, really good goalkeepers. Mexico, and Miguel Herrera said it himself, I'm not really worried about who's gonna be the goalkeeper for the Mexican national team. And I could understand it, because I mean, for me, who would I put? It's hard, man. It's hard, but for sure I know in my head it would be between Ochoa and it would be between Corona. It's hard though, it's hard. You can debate who's better and who's not, who's better, because Ochoa is better in this and then Corona is better in this other thing. So it's like, give or take, what do you want? You really can't alternate. You can't say, Corona would play the first game and Ochoa will play the second. I don't see that happening, but whether Corona plays it or Ochoa plays it, I'm fine with it. If Ochoa starts, great. If Corona starts, great. I'm fine with it. Then I can see, you can debate who's the third goalkeeper, Muñoz or Talavera or Cirilo Saucedo. I think it's between Talavera and Muñoz. Between those two, I think, I'm an Americanista, but I'm saying it. I think Talavera, but Muñoz is going to be in the World Cup because he knows the Miguel Herrera system. He played in America for Miguel Herrera for a couple of years, so he knows the whole system and this and that. So you can sign it too. Muñoz is probably going to be in the World Cup if he keeps, a regular level. Javier El Chicharito Hernandez is going to be in the World Cup as well. You can sign it right now. Don't know. You can also debate whether or not he's going to be a starter in the World Cup, but he will be in the World Cup. Giovanni Dos Santos, another one that's, in my opinion, in my book, for sure in the World Cup. I don't know if he'll start, but I think he will be in the World Cup. Javier Aquino, I don't know if he'll be in the World Cup. I don't know if he actually will. He's been playing, pretty good with Villarreal, although he's coming off of an injury. He'll be out for a couple more weeks, I believe. But he's gonna be one that is gonna be within those 90 minutes on that friendly versus Nigeria. He's gonna be fighting for a spot in the World Cup. Hector Herrera, the same thing, although he has been playing with Porto, the first team. Diego Reyes has been playing with Porto B. He scored a goal recently, Diego Reyes. But Hector Herrera has been playing with the first team of Porto. He's been starting as well, some games, not every games, but and I heard recently he got an assist. He scored goals a couple months back. He's been playing regularly. He's been playing pretty well. Hector Herrera has. So he's another one that I can see, him fighting for a spot in the World Cup. Andres Guardado is one man that I saw him. I saw the game versus PSG, and it's just not looking good, man. He's just not looking very well, very, very well. I understand he just got to his new club, Bayer Leverkusen, in the Bundesliga. He just got there, but yesterday they took a beating from PSG in the Champions League. 4-0 they lost. I think they were at home as well. 4-0. PSG gave him a beating, and Andres Guardado, I've seen the 2 games that they've started him. He's not looking good. He's not looking very, very good. So, Andres Guardado, you do have to respect the experience he has. This is going to be his 3rd World Cup, I believe. Is it? Yeah, it is going to be his 3rd World Cup. He played in 2006. He played in 2010. And now 2014, he has another chance. But will he get there? I think he will. I think in the end he will. But it's looking tough, man. If he gets there, it's more because you have to respect his experience. He's an experienced player with the Mexican national team. He plays in European leagues. He plays a different caliber of rivals, so that adds to it as well. But right now, Andres Guardado is not looking very, very good. And Diego Reyes, I can see him in the World Cup. I can see Diego Reyes, although he's not playing a lot with the first team in Porto. He is playing in Porto B. He has minutes, I guess, some competition. And Miguel Herrera really, really likes what Diego Reyes brings to the table. He knows him. Diego Reyes, recently left America a couple seasons back. So Diego Reyes, I could see him in a World Cup. He just has to keep it up, and I can see him being a bench player in the World Cup. Or he might take Masa Rodriguez's spot. I see the 3 center backs for Mexico, considering that Miguel Herrera plays with the line of 5 at the back, with Miguel Ayun being in the right winger, or the left, not right. I'm sorry, left back. Paul Aguilar being the right back, and then you have Marquez being the center back along with Moreno and Masa Rodriguez. But you can see Diego Reyes taking Masa's spot if Masa Rodriguez doesn't step it up. In the last couple games, he hasn't been playing well. So I like the list. It's what we expected. And we'll see what these dudes show on March the 5th. It'll be an interesting game. They picked Nigeria because Nigeria, they're trying to simulate what Cameroon will bring to the table in the opening game of the World Cup for Mexico. So, the African players like Cameroon, the ones in Nigeria, they're strong, they're big, they're fast, they run a lot, but they're not very, very tactically sound defensively. So that's when they'll leave you some holes, and you can exploit those. And we'll see if Mexico can put up a good game. But I like the list. I like the list, and it's what we expected, right? So on to another topic, man. Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul is dominating the league. Cruz Azul is, I don't want to exaggerate, but they're playing good. They're looking well. After 6 games, they're still undefeated in the league. After 7 games of the season, they're still undefeated. They have 6 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses, 14. Listen to this. 14 goals in their favor, only 2 against them. So they're the best offense and the best defense in the league. They have a difference of plus 12, and they have 19 points. Number 1 in the league, Toluca is a close second with 16 points, only 3 points behind them. America is 3rd place with 12 points. Chivas is tied with America in points, but the goal difference puts America in 3rd. Chivas is 4th, and Pumas 5th. I'm going to give you the top 8. Santos is 6th with 10 points. Pachuca is 7th with 10 points as well. And Querétaro as well with 10 points. But, 4 teams are tied with 10 points, which is Tijuana, Querétaro, Pachuca, and Santos. So, yeah, whatever. That's not really all that important. But look at this. The top 5. Cruz Azul, Toluca, America, Chivas, and Pumas. Wow. The 4 big, I'm using air quotes here, the 4 most big teams in the Liga MX, along with Toluca, which is a very, very successful club. Toluca is also considered a big in the Liga MX. A long time has passed since we've seen this. It does look a little bit strange, although it shouldn't, since these are the most popular teams. We should be used to seeing this, but we don't get to see it very often because lately Pumas hadn't been doing well. Chivas hadn't been doing well. Cruz Azul and America always held their own. They've been up there fighting for the top spots for a couple years now, but Pumas and Chivas have stepped it up, which is a good sign for the entire league. Even me as an America fan, I don't want to see all the time, although it is, sometimes it's satisfying seeing Chivas and Pumas in the lower spots of the league. But you need, Chivas needs America, America needs Chivas. They need each other to keep the league competitive and to keep it interesting. Can you imagine a Liga semifinals? Chivas versus America, Pumas versus Cruz Azul, that's interesting, it keeps it interesting. So I really, really like what Cruz Azul has been showing. I didn't see the game, I will be honest with you. Last week's game versus Puebla, I didn't see it because I was driving back from Mexico. I visited some family in Mexico. I live about 2 hours away, so it's not a very, very long drive, but I was driving back while the game was going on, and I didn't get to see it. But from what I hear, I saw the highlights. I saw the golazo that Marco Fabian scored late in the game, the 92nd minute in stoppage time. He scored a hell of a goal to give to give Cruz Azul the 3 points versus Puebla. But from what I hear, Puebla didn't deserve to lose. They actually deserved a little bit more. The draw would have been a little bit fair, but Cruz Azul has players that will change a game like that. They have players like Joao Rojas, Marco Fabian, Chaco Jimenez, Pavone, Formica. They're all playing well. Although Pavone is not scoring all that much, he's been getting assists. It looks like Marco Fabian is picking back his level from what he had been showing with Chivas. So that's a good sign, not only for Cruz Azul, not only for Chivas, but for the entire country of Mexico, for the Mexican national team. If Marco Fabian, it's too early, I've already been hearing in the media, Marco Fabian for the World Cup. Relax, man, relax. It's only been 7 weeks, 7 jornadas, and Marco Fabian has been showing some good stuff, but you need to relax. We still need to give him more time, and if he keeps it up, then surely he'll fight for a spot in the World Cup. But I like Cruz Azul, what they've been showing. They're the best offense and defense in the league, so that says something. America is coming off of 2 losses. It had been a while since America lost 2 back-to-back games. I'm not used to this as an America fan, I will admit, but they're still in the 3rd place, and in the media, it's like if America was last in the league. Look at what Tigres is going through. They've won 0 games. They've only scored 2 goals. It's it's crazy. How did you only score 2 goals? They've only scored 2 goals, and they have 4 points. They're the bottom of the league. You know, they're very, very down there. 18th place for Tigres. But America, it seemed like if America was in the 18th place of the league. I mean, it's crazy. But look at Leon as well. Leon has 3 defeats. Leon is the current champion. America has 3 defeats, but it becomes a lot more magnified when it's America losing these games, because America, for the last 2 years with Miguel Herrera, you know, they were always fighting for the top spots of the league. America hadn't lost 2 games in a row. You know, 2 years ago, that was unheard of. America was already used to winning. The media was already used to America winning, and now it's like all hell has broken loose, man. So, yeah, you know, I wouldn't pay too much attention. You know, Ruben Sambueza is coming back for America, and the team is, you know, Raúl Jiménez is coming off of an injury. He's not in form. Raúl Jiménez is not in form, but he will slowly but surely gain it back, and I think America will gain a lot with Ruben Sambueza returning. But you know, I wouldn't. It's not like over here America is done for sure. You know, they're still in 3rd place. They're tied with 12 points with Chivas, but they're still up there, and I'm pretty sure America will be okay. So America fans, my America fans, which I know I have a lot of subscribers that are America fans, so we don't have to worry. We gotta worry if we lose 3 games in a row, though, I will admit. So next game is very, very important. It's versus Pumas. They're in the Azteca, a Clásico. America. It's a must-win game for both teams, for America and for Pumas. Pumas coming off of 3 wins in a row, I believe. So Pumas is looking very, very strong, man. Pumas is, you know, not very, very strong. You know, they've scraped the result of the last games. You know, they haven't won very, very, very convincingly, but you know, hey, Pumas is showing improvement. Definitely improvement from last season. So looking good. Chivas. Also, although they haven't been playing spectacular football, you know, hey, it's much better than last season, man. It's much better than last season. They're fighting for the top spots in the league. These are the spots where Chivas belongs, you know, playing, you know, fighting for the spots up there in the league. So Chivas, although they're not impressive by their football and stuff like that, they're not disastrous either. You know, Chivas is slowly but surely, you know, gaining momentum. Omar Bravo coming off of scoring 2 goals versus Querétaro last week's game. I actually watched that game, and it was kind of boring, but there was some golazos scored there. I really liked the first goal scored by Omar Bravo, and the I forgot, what was his name? Walcina? No, I can't remember his last name, man, but it was the Querétaro player who scored from outside the box. That was a hell of a goal. So yeah, good stuff. We've seen some great goals in the Liga MX so far, but I think the league so far is not, you know, there's some teams that are slowly but surely starting to pick it up. Like Santos didn't start very, very well. Leon didn't start very, very well, but they're starting to pick it up slowly but surely. But overall, I think that the level of the league hasn't been great. It hasn't been great, but you know, it's getting better. Like Leon is slowly but surely getting back up, and Santos is also picking up their level. So I'd like to see how this thing, you know, ends up at the end of the season. Are these 5, you know, most popular teams, are they gonna end up there in the top of the league, or is this whole thing gonna, you know, just even out, and you're gonna see Santos up there, you're gonna see Leon up there? We'll just have to find out. You know, it's impossible to see. But for next week, we have some very, very interesting matchups, man. Like I said, like I was discussing, we have America versus Pumas. But an even better one is Tigres versus Veracruz. I'm being sarcastic. That's Veracruz is 17th place in the league. Tigres is 18th place in the league. So if you're having trouble sleeping at night, then you can sign yourself up for the Tigres versus Veracruz, and that'll probably knock you out. That'll put you to sleep, because don't expect great football being displayed by that game, by those 2 teams. They're not facing very, very good times. But one that you can also expect very, very good football, in my opinion, are the 2 Libertadores teams for the Liga MX, Leon and Santos. Leon, like I said, both these teams actually didn't start very good. They didn't start very well in the season, but they're slowly but surely picking it up. And that's going to be an interesting duel, Leon versus Santos. Another interesting one is the Toluca Chivas. I see that one as an interesting one. Chivas looking to keep winning points, and Toluca looking to stay on top of the league in the second place and looking to catch back up in case Cruz Azul drops points in Querétaro. Toluca would be they wouldn't be the number one in the league because Cruz Azul has better goal difference and stuff like that. But Toluca, they're looking to stay up there. They're a solid squad with a hell of a goalkeeper like Talavera, with a hell of a offensive line like El Conejito. They have Conejito Brizuela, they have Pablo Velázquez, they have El Pájaro Benítez. They have great offensive players. So Toluca is definitely a threat to Chivas, and Chivas, they've been showing slowly but surely improvement, but it's going to be tough for them to win this game versus Toluca, when considering Toluca is also at home. So great games for this weekend, man. The Friday, it starts with great games on Friday. The Querétaro versus Cruz Azul is definitely one that I will be watching. That one's at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and we'll see if Querétaro can steal some points. They can finally give the first loss to Cruz Azul. I don't see it happening though. I see Cruz Azul winning this game. Let's do that, man. Let's give our predictions for the next games, and then we'll end this podcast because I'm already getting tired of speaking, and yeah, I need some water. So let's give my predictions for the jornada. What is it? 8. The jornada 8 of the Clausura for 2014. That's horrible, man. I hate mixing English and Spanish. That's horrible. So yeah, week number 8 of action for the Liga MX. Querétaro versus Cruz Azul. Friday, 21st of February 2014. I see Cruz Azul defeating Querétaro in Querétaro. I don't see it. I don't see Querétaro defeat. I don't see how Querétaro could defeat Cruz Azul. Although Querétaro has some decent players, they've been showing some decent improvement. But nah, man, I see Cruz Azul being too strong. I see Cruz Azul defeating Querétaro in Querétaro. Tijuana versus Chiapas in Tijuana. I see Tijuana taking the 3 points right here. Chiapas just not looking well. They're coming off of a 0-0 draw, I believe, versus Tigres last week. Very, very boring game. But I just see Tijuana, the stronger team right here. Pellerano is playing great this season for Tijuana, and I just see Tijuana taking the 3 points at home. America versus Pumas. A must-win game for both teams. Pumas looking to continue with their win streak. America looking to get out of a losing streak or not entering a potential losing streak of 3 games. That would be disastrous. So America versus Pumas, I say America wins. I say America wins at home, and I'll tell you why. Ruben Sambueza adds so much to America, and it sucks to say it like that as an America fan, because you don't ever want to depend on only one player. But when other players like Raúl Jiménez, like Luis Gabriel Rey aren't playing very, very well offensively, aren't in form, America needs another player to get them started, to serve them goals, and Ruben Sambueza is your man. He's the key player for America, and I just see America taking it's going to be a close game. I don't see America blowing Pumas out of the water, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Pumas will pull out the 3 points, but I think America will come out smelling blood, will come out attacking, since they need to prevent losing 3 games in a row. So I see America taking that one. Pachuca versus Morelia. Tough one, man. But since Pachuca is at home, I see Pachuca taking it. Morelia, man, Duvier Riascos, I don't know what's going on with him, man. Although Morelia defeated America, America had their chances as well. I remember Raúl Jiménez had a one-on-one versus the goalkeeper, and he wasted it, man. So Morelia, they do show some decent stuff. I'm sorry, but I just see Pachuca taking it at home. Tigres versus Veracruz. Man, like I said, if you have insomnia, if you're suffering from that, then you can watch this game and you'll probably fall asleep. Nah, who knows? Maybe it'll be an entertaining game, considering that both these teams need to get out of the lower spots, especially Tigres, who has a hell of a squad. They just signed Burbano. They signed Guti Estrada for this season, but they're just not playing very well. So I see Tigres, though. I see Tigres at home taking it over Veracruz. León versus Santos. The Libertadores teams, León coming off of a win in Libertadores. They're playing tonight, actually, versus Bolívar. They're playing at 6 p.m. Central Time, I believe. So León is playing versus Bolívar in the Copa Libertadores tonight. They might have some fatigue, although Santos played yesterday in Uruguay in Montevideo. Jesus Christ. Montevideo, Uruguay. They played versus Peñarol. They defeated them 2-0. So both these teams showing some good stuff in the Libertadores. But I see León. I see León taking it over Santos. León is strong at home. They have great players. The same thing with Santos, but I don't know. I just see León taking this one. Atlas versus Monterrey. Monterrey with a new coach. They just recently fired El Profe Cruz. I see Atlas. Atlas at home in Guadalajara. Atlas takes this one over Monterrey. Toluca versus Chivas. I like what Chivas is showing, you know, slowly but surely improving, but too strong. Toluca is too strong, man, especially at home. I see Toluca taking the 3 points over Chivas. Although hopefully I'm wrong, man, because my dad goes for Chivas and I like to see my dad happy. So hopefully Chivas takes it over Toluca, but I just don't see it happening. Atlante versus Puebla. Oh, man. Puebla, Romano is in hot water. Romano is in hot water. I still haven't received news for sure that he's going to be out of the team, but he's in hot water. This is a must-win game for him, but it's also a must-win game for Atlante if they want to start shortening that distance, that gap, that relegation gap between Veracruz and them, between Atlas and them. Atlante needs to win this game, especially because they're at home. So who do I see winning this game? I see Atlante. I see Atlante win this game at home over Puebla. And, you know, I think I picked every home team. No, I didn't. Well, I picked almost every home team except for Cruz Azul over Querétaro. So maybe I'm being a little bit biased here because I'm just going with the easy one and picking the home teams. But I try to provide a little bit of analysis on why I picked what I picked, right? So I'd see Atlante defeating Puebla. They just have a perfect opportunity over a kind of, you know, weak Puebla squad. Although the Puebla played well against Cruz Azul, they didn't deserve to lose. But I just see Atlante winning this game. So thank you guys for watching, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this edition of the Guerreros Azteca podcast. I should have said it at the start, but there is an MP3 download link. If you wanted to put this one in your iPod, in your iPhone, in your Android, and just listen to it, because this is an audio podcast only. No gameplay, no video, nothing like that. So thank you guys for watching, man. Let me know your picks in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought about the topics we discussed in this edition of the Guerreros Azteca podcast. Carlos Vela, is he crazy for saying no to Mexico, for saying no to the World Cup? What do you think of that 8 players, the list of 8 players that are going to come to play with the Mexican national team versus Nigeria for the March 5th friendly in Georgia or in Atlanta? And what do you think of Cruz Azul being #1 in the league? Do you think that the most popular teams in the Liga MX will remain at the top of the table, or do you think things will get evened out and you'll see a Santos up there, you'll see a León up there, maybe a Tijuana up there? You know, so we'll see at the end of the league. So thank you guys for watching, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this edition of the Guerreros Azteca podcast. A like would definitely be appreciated, and it would actually help me keep this on a regular schedule, man. I definitely do want to do these more often, but there's got to be support. You know, if no one watches this, then I'm just talking to myself and I'm wasting my time. Hopefully I'm not doing that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, bros, and as always, que viva el fútbol.